this episode is, in a way, a thank you from us to the fans, because we know that you guys have been asking for this and you really want to know about you. And so even though it's not totally aligned with the themes of our podcast, we're so grateful to your support all season. And for that, we wanted to give you this little gift of an episode. And it's on video because we also know that you've been wanting that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's well said, Nava.
Thank you.
I'll be authentic for one moment. Thank you.
Okay. So we actually, on our social media accounts at Podcrushed, follow us wherever you can, we asked our fans to give us questions that they would want Penn to answer about you, because you announced the show, season 4 of the show coming out in February, March.
Yeah, we don't need to advertise for them. They got it. They got it. They're solid.
So we asked our fans for questions, and we got a ton on Instagram, on TikTok, and Nava sorted through them, and we thought it'd be fun to get together in person for one of the first times.
Because typically I'm in New York, and
isn't that
they're
wild?
here in
London.
LA. Yeah.
The last
and
time,
I was in London. Yeah.
The last time we were all together was for our launch party in New York. And I haven't seen Penn in person since then.
And that was like 2 hours together. It was, and we barely saw each other that night. It was so brief.
I mean, I got my fill, I think.
Yeah, you were good. He was sad. Yeah.
It's a stupid joke. It's such a dumb joke.
I have really enjoyed spending time in person.
And we're going to go out to dinner later, guys.
Yeah, I actually have a schedule, and it says dinner and fun.
There's a fun block.
Nava Calvin, former director of a middle school. Okay.
Yep.
Scheduled this whole business trip that I'm here for, and happy to be here for, doing other press. There is one block on this spreadsheet, G4. It is block G4. I remember. I only had to look once, and it's yellow, and it says all caps, fun. It says fun. And that's, by the way, block G4 starts after this.
Yeah.
So actually
fun.
in the spirit, what Nava has done for all of us is you're going to watch this, okay? We're all in block G4 right now.
Yeah.
We are all having fun. Capital F-U.
We always ask guests on our podcast to share an embarrassing story from middle school. Can you share an embarrassing story from set?
So I've been kind of forthcoming about like how sort of awkward and vulnerable intimacy scenes can be, and actually many other scenes. I had a scene. It was like a fantasy scene from season 3, where Joe is he's having dream sex with either. It's hard to narrow it. But the way they wanted to shoot it was so, the camera was so tight and close that like there was no the camera's just here, you know.
Mm-hmm. The camera's there instead of a person.
Instead of a person.
Yeah.
In my underwear on a bed in a fake room in front of, probably 12 people or so. And then knowing that it's going to be seen by
400
literally
million?
millions
I'm
of people.
already embarrassed, actually.
I had to hump the air. Because I was simulating real sex with a person.
Right.
I had to hump the air, just because practically that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? And actually, Silver Tree, shout out to Silver, very talented, very compassionate. She came, so she and she was right, by the way. It needed to be shot here, much like let's also shout out to Lee Tolan Krieger. He was also right ultimately, like the people behind the camera watching what needs to happen often are right, and it's my job to ground it and resist it, but I will do it. So when I had to hump the air in my underwear in real life to simulate this thing, Silver comes out and she's like, because we've got to be here, like you're not, there's not gonna be anybody there, and I cut her off and I was like, I see what you're asking me. and she was like, and she was just like, and that's just kind of her. She and I have a very like, okay, yep. She comes in, because she has to do so much crazy.
Yeah.
She was with us as a producing director the longest. She would have to, she cut up so many bodies, and she'd just be like, yeah, more blood there. Yeah, okay, you're gonna have to put your pants down there. Okay, yeah, we're gonna, we were very like, there was a trust there. And I was like, okay, I see what you're asking me to do. And she was like, are you? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And she goes back behind the monitor, and then I get on the bed, and assuming all fours in my underwear, and she calls action very compassionately, and had to do that. It was a weird sensation because you can imagine.
Yeah.
We'll try not to.
That was great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, Penn, what is your favorite season or episode? Do you have one?
Well, I actually haven't seen all of the fourth season at this point, but I think it is the most challenging in a good way. It sort of like threatens to break the mold, and then I can't say too much at this point, but it really lands, I think, towards the latter half of the season in a way that it needs to sort of go away to come back. And I really like that as a person who's invested in the show growing and like it can't get too different. It can't ultimately be a different show, but it has to sort of try and then figure out a new form of itself. And I think honestly, I mean, the writers, like, the concept is so hard to build upon, to not like exhaust. I mean, consider how Joe should be like the worst, you know? And so this season, I don't know. This season is interesting and satisfying. But I think from previous seasons, my favorite episode is episode 8 of 2, season 2. In the biz, we call this 208.
What happened in 208? Was that the one where you had like
trip.
a fugue state?
Yeah. I would say Joe is a fugue state, but there's a more pronounced. And so, like, just for me, it's fun because I get to do, like, when you get to ground like high camp in, you know, like the mania of an acid trip, but like, I don't know, grounding it in something truly heartbreaking. That's fun. That's fun as an actor.
Do you have a favorite season prior to season 4?
No.
Okay.
Season 4 is it.
You know what? I would
That's
say my
great.
least favorite season is season 1 because I was the whole time I was like, is anybody going to forgive me for this? Like, or, you know, that's a bit extreme, but I was
Struggling with it.
yeah, I was struggling the most with the concept. I was like, they're turning the heat up on the pot, right? And then by season 2 and 3, I was like, yeah, it's boiling. We're fine.
So people wanted to know what was your favorite scene to film with Beck, with all of your female love interests, with Beck, with Love, with Marianne, and with Kate, if you can give us a glimpse. Kate is his new season 4.
Yeah, there's always at least one scene that is like surprisingly like real, and there's usually not more than like one, like where it's like joy and reality comes through, like this really like it's easy to shoot, and we only need a few takes, and it's like, wow, this is why we do this, you know. I can't remember what all those are. I think with Beck, with Elizabeth Lale was probably the scene that comes to mind is like the scene actually where Joe confronts her about cheating on him, and that something about that rehearsal was like we were like, this is very potent, and so again when reality comes through, which then as an actor later means that actually joy kind of takes hold, even if you're doing something really dark. If reality comes through after you're like your nervous system calms and settles, and you know not only did you do your job, but like you're then protected by the reality. You know, you're protected by the fact that you brought some reality to this story. So that season 1 with Beck, with Elizabeth Lale's character, that would be that one. With Victoria Pedretti's character Love, seasons 2 and 3, that would be actually for Love it would be season 3, with the divorce dinner scene at the end. Spoiler alert. They don't divorce, she dies. Because Joe's a murderer. With who else? Marianne.
But wait, why was that one?
Season 3.
But why was that one your favorite?
Why?
Yeah.
Because again, Joe was able to be honest with her for a moment. There's others that I'm probably forgetting. Marianne, favorite scene with Marianne. Marianne's harder, actually. Marianne, the thing about Joe with Marianne is that he's maybe at his worst somehow.
Yeah, I think so too.
I actually feel
it's
like with
most
Marianne
deceptive.
it was most troubling.
Can you unpack that? Well, afterwards.
Yeah.
Kate, can you say, or
Kate?
can you allude
I
to
can't
it?
say. So the interesting thing about Kate.
Can you tell us which episode?
Yeah, Kate in season 4. There has to be something new about every character every season. For Joe's person that he's hopefully not going to kill. Maybe he's going to change. Or maybe she'll kill him. Maybe, we can only hope. she brings something new to the table, both as an actress, but then also the character. So there was some. There again, there's always moments where reality comes through, and it's like it's a joy. It's a joy to be Joe.
Well, I just wanted to. Can you unpack why you think he's at his worst with Marianne? And you said you agreed.
Oh yeah.
And I just hadn't thought of that. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm. He's at his worst because he's really, really, really more consciously like gaslighting and lying and manipulating. And I think a woman who's like maybe even in the most vulnerable, she's like an active, she's like an addict in recovery, but like barely like white knuckling it. And then actually what he does is he tells her something that he's never told anybody else, actually that he's killed somebody, but he's using it to manipulate her. So he's actually using his vulnerability as a tool to manipulate, which is not real vulnerability. So he's in a sense becoming more conscious, but then unconsciously using that to be worse than ever. You know, that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I felt like also Marianne, to me, is one of the most sympathetic characters. Like, I feel the most for her. And so the two of you together makes me the most angry.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Most upset about it because I feel like Beck, she's ignoring a lot of red flags and she's talking herself into it. I didn't feel as sorry for her. And Love turns out to be a serial killer herself, but then Marianne is really just
she's
lovely.
trying. She's like,
and she has a kid, and you're also harming her kid. Yeah, I feel like it was the situation that made me the angriest.
Yeah, it's also what sets up season 4 to be so like at points very, very potent.
Actually, this isn't a fan question, but I do want to ask you this question. We've talked about this. Other like very attractive, successful actors have played psychotic characters. But for some reason, Joe is more likable than all of them, and I can't figure out why.
I'll tell you why.
Why do people like Joe?
Here's why I
Tell
think.
us.
It's not a good look for me. But I think because I'm not trying to play him like a serial killer. To me, it's not a clinical portrait of a serial killer. The whole thing is an allegory. It's not. It's. I ground it in reality. I mean, I have to believe everything I'm saying and doing, but I don't at all try to play him like you think a killer should be or would be or could be, because I actually think that the reality of it, you know, the whole world is like, well, the whole world, the Western, let's call it the Western white world, maybe, or some faction, some percentage of the world seems to be really fascinated with the case of the serial killer, and I honestly think that it's a reflection of many things, but like serial killers, from what I understand, you know, they don't have like a wide emotional range. Like they're not, you know, the whole point is that they don't have access to that place. So they're not emoting in the way that Joe does constantly. They're not actually, you know, they wouldn't be torn up about leaving their son in that way. They probably wouldn't be, you know, like so supportive of young people as Joe often is. They wouldn't actually care about these things. They're actually narcissists and sociopaths to the degree that they don't, you know, and so to me, like, I just play Joe as Joe, who's kind of like a, you know, he's a fascinating creation, and there's moments that might really reflect the pathology of a serial killer, but there's plenty of moments that I think don't, and nor should they, nor is that what I think the show's trying to do. It's just, I think it's an exploration of like modern themes around masculinity and love, and so I just play into that. Also, Gossip Girl. That's why I think people. I mean, you know, come on.
People already have an affection for you.
They're like, hey, is Dan's got?
Like, are you announcing a crossover event? Is this breaking news? Penn, if you had to describe season 4 in one word, what would it be?
You know that joke of how I like can't answer questions quickly.
The joke.
Let's
or
see
the
how
factual
long.
statement?
One word? Only one? Nope. That'll make more sense when you see it.
Okay. Is this a reference to the Jordan Peele movie?
Like, is there a cloud that doesn't
because
move?
because Nope is by the way, first movie I saw in 3 years. Nope, in theaters.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. I'm just going to recommend other projects while we're here.
Penn's curated media.
No, I really did. By the way, we could talk about Nope for a while. I really loved it, and
It's an incredible
feel like I
film.
saw something in that movie that is literally, maybe I've never seen before. But what were we saying? One word about my show, season
4.
4.
Just boil it down in
It's for
You said
Jeanette.
it's Nope.
It's Nope. Yeah, it's Nope. Nope.
All right.
It's Nope, unrelated to Jordan Peele.
Got it.
Subtitle.
Just for fun, can you do the
Another
same for
word?
seasons 1, 2, and 3?
Just for fun, can you answer the
That'll
question?
orient us to like how you categorize.
How
those
much
seasons.
time do
Okay,
we have?
first season is first season is second season is really? Third season is still. Fourth season, nope.
Oh, I like that.
You see, there's
That
a
was actually-
context.
It took a while.
I took
to
you on
get
an arc.
there,
I'm a
but
storyteller
I like
by
how you
trade.
did that. Okay, did COVID cause any shifts in storylines? Maybe
On
this
any
season?
season.
Yeah.
Really, only the third.
What changed?
Well, there was like you just couldn't have that many people together. So like there were scenes that just had to be really cut down, and you know, typically you want production value, you know, and so you want scenes with lots of people. You want to go into locations where there's like hundreds of people at some point. They couldn't do that. So like there were party scenes that just got cut down to like, oh, now we're setting up. It's not very interesting.
Having to do intimacy scenes because there were so many in season
with
3
COVID.
when there was a global pandemic. How the hell did you guys like mediate that? How did you feel about it? Were there discussions about cutting them down?
There was one fantasy scene that included 4 people. On top of the not fantasy
I was
foursome.
like, there was already.
Yeah, there was already a
that
foursome.
made it
There were
into
going to
the
be
show.
2 foursomes, which is an 8-some. It's an aggregate 8-some,
Okay.
which is a 4G. One word for season 4. 4G. No, it's not. You'll see. What was the question? What am I doing here? Why did we agree to do this?
The
Something
intimacy scenes during a global pandemic.
Yeah.
How
What
did you
was
guys
that
feel
about?
about
What was
it?
that
Were
about?
there conversations
Oh,
about
they were
cutting that
doctor
down?
approved. Pretty sure they bribed him. He wasn't a doctor.
He just wore a white
He
coat.
he had one of those, a stethoscope.
Yeah.
He was listening to my femur. It's just like,
He's like,
yeah,
"Sounds good."
no, it sounds normal. Yeah, it's good. I don't think COVID affects you here.
Were you and Victoria freaking out? Because thinking about like the height of the pandemic,
Yeah.
when people were taking such precautions to like not even touch a surface
well, we
that someone
didn't-
else had touched, and you guys had to make
Yeah,
out.
no one ever went anywhere. Like we like season 3 lockdown. Also with a kid at home, a toddler. We were locked down. I did not do like one extracurricular thing with cast crew.
Wow.
Not a
Wow.
like it was full on.
We're gonna ask you some character plot specifics.
So excited.
All right, I thought this was a fun question from a fan. If Love had married a faithful normie, do you think she still would have been running around killing people?
Faithful Normie is a great little band name or something. Do I think she still would have been what?
Running around killing people.
All right, or was
If
it
she had
you?
married someone that wasn't Joe, basically.
No, she's a killer. She was killing people before Joe. Watch the
Well,
show,
but-
y'all.
Okay, I don't agree with this. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. Let's have a hot take. I love it.
She only killed one person.
Where in the
And
what?
it was in self-defense. It was, to take care of her brother. Like, I feel that you brought it out of her. I mean, not you, Joe.
Wait, was it?
Joe
Sophie, you're gonna have to
Wasn't
sit
there a
down.
plot
You're
line
gonna
where
have
she
to-
also killed her husband, or no, he died of natural causes?
She killed her husband.
I think she killed the nanny.
She killed
and
her
she killed her
husband.
I totally missed that.
She killed her husband.
Her husband died of cancer.
No, and
No,
she
it's-
also killed
I think it was implied that she speeded his death up.
Sped.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I need
He did
I
have
need to rewatch.
cancer, but yeah, did she kill him?
So I actually forget if I think they might have changed that. I think no, she did. Season
think
3 that
she
was
did.
so
I
season
think it's
2 we
implied
actually
that-
already knew that.
Yeah.
I think they were gonna reveal that in season 2,
Yeah.
but then they by
There
the
were
way,
so many
spoiler alert.
reveals.
They were going to reveal that in season 2, but then I think they were like no, we can just put this in season 3. This is
Somehow I
like
totally missed that. And I want to know if anyone else who is a You watcher also missed that.
Yeah.
Because for me, I felt
Breaking
like
news.
but the
felt
whole
like
point is
Love
that
was
Love
pretty-
is a serial killer.
I didn't know that.
I mean, the whole point is that the whole point is but really the whole conceit is like Joe actually found the only person who could be perfect
Yeah.
for him.
He found his perfect
and
match.
he hates her because she reflects
Yeah.
himself to
Yeah.
to him.
So I'm just going to ask you this off the heels of this. I think it's obvious, but one question that we got a few times was, who did Joe love more, Beck or Love?
That question makes me uncomfortable because you're saying love like it's love. Murdered both. You decide. Next question.
I think it's obvious. I think Beck, because he did. I think he
Hot
only
take.
offed, or his feelings were more intense for Beck. I think he only offed Beck because she caught him. But Love, he wanted to get rid of. Like he kept trying to get rid of her all season.
Wait, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to process this.
In the logic of you, Penn, not in the logic
Yeah.
of like.
Yeah. No, I disagree. I think okay. In the logic of the show,
Which character does he care about more? I think Beck. Do you think he was sadder to kill Beck than he was to kill Love?
Yes,
He was
no,
happy
actually,
to kill Love.
to me, first season Joe is the most troubling, the saddest, the most. Yeah, it's actually surprising how much it makes me be like, ugh, like trying to talk about, even though we're here having fun. Talking about Beck and love as a phenomenon, as a force, is the most powerful force
Let's
in
just
the
say
universe.
feelings for. We don't have to say love.
Feelings for.
He has some kind of feelings for these
I
women.
was like, get the content. Ben's trying so hard.
Stop trying to elevate this.
I just no I don't I think because I think he honestly wanted to rescue Beck.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be the White Knight. Mm-hmm. Love, he actually resisted. Oh no, he didn't. He actually stalked her from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that reveal.
Yeah.
But then Joe's a slippery fish.
He stopped having feelings for Love the moment he found out her true nature.
But that
He
was
just-
that was episode 9. That was the whole season.
I know,
he stopped
but
having feelings for Beck.
He never stopped having feelings for Beck. He just killed her. He didn't. That's how she discovers the box in his attic
Yeah,
or whatever.
you're right.
And then he puts her in the
His
cage
attic.
and he's trying not to kill her. And he actually, when she tricks him, he decides to let her out so that they can have a life together. And then she tries to attack him and he kills her. So he never lost feelings for Beck, right? Like till the very end, he wants to like give it a shot. And then she turns on him and he kills her.
But what about
No,
when he's
but-
chasing her up the stairs? He's lost his feelings for her by
No,
there.
he's just killing her because she knows his true nature.
No, but what about because she's with the therapist, right? Isn't
But
he like
he's- but they
Yeah,
get
but
back
technically, I think
together.
that probably
They get back
inflames
together
his,
after
like,
that.
the way betrayal can be like,
Yeah.
make it hard to let go.
I think if you watch the first season again, you'll find that he kills her because she discovers his true nature. He kills Love when he discovers her true nature.
Okay,
Therefore, he's
yeah,
repulsed by
deep-
Love. He's never repulsed by Beck.
Deep cut.
Penn, something I'm really curious about and something that someone asked us as well was how do you feel filming really gruesome scenes and what do you do to sort of prepare yourself or to be able to get through really awful acting scenes?
Straight up these days, it's like it is a hardcore prayer regimen and meditation. I mean, before scenes like that, I mean, I really am probably often I can't have food in my stomach, so I'm often in a kind of empty sort of.
Like a shell of a person, would you say?
No, I would say only in that the body is a shell for my soul. No, can we just do that more? Can we just
You're breaking
sing
into song.
prayerfully?
I think you do that often.
I think you're doing it enough.
No, I really, in the moment sometimes, actually, honestly, before and after the take is way more. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, I can barely. When you really try to take that on, and look, even speaking of what I'm doing from a completely conceptual secular sense, like if I'm really trying to process this reality of what somebody's doing, like this is awful,
Yeah.
worst of humanity, really, right?
Yeah.
If I'm really processing that and present with it, it's like the worst. So honestly, before and after takes are sometimes when I actually break down, and then during it, it's kind of like, well, some other halfway, mid.
So when you break down, like right after a scene, have you ever had a director or someone like console you? Do they ignore it? Like, what's that like to have that happen in front of people, or does it happen in your trailer?
No, I think it's quieter than that. I think some people might just, they'll be quiet or respectful. I actually had to do that as a director this season in episode 9 for my for someone. And actually, you know what? I've done that a few times, I think, on this show, because this show is dealing with a lot of heavy stuff,
And, like primal feelings.
Yeah. It's really, really intense.
Is there an episode or a scene where you got the script and you were horrified to not by the script, but to have to act that out and thinking like, how am I going to do this? Can you tell us?
Script 1, script 2, script 3, script 4.
Every scene, every
5.
episode,
How many?
every season.
Are we talking about 30, 40 episodes? No, and I mean, look, Greg and Sarah, the creators of the show, they since day one, A1, they said this is part of why they wanted me for it, and it's not judging Joe. It's like, look, from an objective point of view, it's horrific, and it's like I can appreciate the storytelling value, the arc of this allegory and all the and the enjoyment people get out of it, but for 6 months of the year, for like 12 to 14 hours a day, I'm the person who has to sort of be this dude. So it doesn't, I don't get to read the script and be like, I just don't have this, I'm not supposed to have the same perspective as anybody else in terms of this show. It's only when I'm able to watch an episode, maybe like for the second time, that I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like, oh, that's clever. As Joe's doing something awful, but then there's like a really darkly comic sort of thought underneath it. It's only like after the fact that I'm often able to be like, yeah, that's pretty good.
But getting into like a nuts and boltsy, which is my favorite thing to do. Was there a scene though that was like when you read the script, you're like, oh fuck, like I don't want to film this scene. Like it's going to be so hard or intense. And I think the fan also added, was there a scene that you weren't worried about that ended up being really difficult, like unpredictably difficult to film?
Yeah. There was a scene this season that I can't talk about.
Cool.
Handling the fake dead bodies is actually surprisingly hard.
What? Okay. Wow. Tell us about that.
It's just kind of turns your stomach because the skin feels real. There's actually real human hair.
What is it made of?
No.
Yeah.
What is it made of?
Oh my gosh.
It's made of people.
That's our teaser trailer. This.
People.
Like, does it look plasticky or?
It's pretty real.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty weird. This season there was a scene.
Wait.
There was a scene where I am actually covered in blood, like in a jumpsuit that has a hood and goggles, and I'm covered in blood. And they had to put pieces of meat on a table saw, and there was really dark fake blood on the table. And I walk in, and it's funny. It was like we had to add some bits. So I'm like, basically, like I wasn't really mentally prepared. We like shot a whole other scene, and like, all right, we just got to shoot this like insert. So like, okay, I'm putting on the whole thing. They spray me with the blood, and I'm just like, motherfucker. Okay, all right, yeah, let's go in. And we do it, and we walk in, and it's like 6 p.m. but the sun's still out because it's like summer in London, and then suddenly I'm in this little room that's full of atmosphere, fake smoke for lighting, and just like fake blood on a table saw and like bits of human remains, and I was like. It just took my spirit and my mood and just plummeted. Wow. And I was like, ugh. Because it's just sensory. It's like you see it, and it's just you're not really meant to see that unless you're seeing it. Ugh. And so your nervous system is just kind of like And then you go home to your kids.
We have a couple of like quick. Well, we'll see with you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, what's your favorite one-liner from Joe?
No. You know how many times I've had to say no?
No.
Yeah, no. The no-no-nos, those are me.
Yeah.
Because there were so many no's, and I'm like, it doesn't, and I'm just like, no. What's interesting? The hardest thought to have as Joe is, damn it.
Really?
There's so many others. Damn it. Does not roll off the tongue.
So that's your least favorite one-liner, but no is your favorite one-liner.
When somebody asks me about my favorite something, I'm always like, can I start with least favorite?
Yeah. There's something in there.
That's just a character flaw I have.
Okay. What is your favorite Joe Goldberg meme? This is a two-part question, but let's start with that part. What is your favorite Joe Goldberg meme from the previous season?
Yeah, no, I've said this before. It's the nails in the hair.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, the nails in the hair. And he's just like,
yeah.
What's he doing? He's like, many things.
Yeah.
Multi-purpose.
Is there a moment in season 4 that you can imagine becoming a meme? And if you can't give us that moment, just give us a little cryptic thing that we can put together when we watch it.
Yeah.
We'll all just have to imagine it.
Yeah, it's
there is one.
Yeah, there is one.
I'm telling you.
There is one. See, I'm really hedging my bets even more than usual because
I know. No, this is totally fair.
We're doing
I
our
mean,
thing
you
here.
could probably get fired or
then,
something.
Yeah.
They won't fire me.
You've got him.
Yeah. So then,
got him where you want him. Just go ham.
They can't fire me. They gotta cancel the show. It's at the end.
See,
They-
like
they
the
mean.
10th episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Oh, so exciting.
Okay. As Joe, FMK, Beck, Love, Marianne.
It was a very serious question. When I was studying conservatory, this was what I was prepared for. I thought, F, M, doth he K?
He doth.
First of all, Joe's a murderer. Let's just so it's basically K for any and all. Even if he fails, even if he can't get him, he's going to try to K.
True.
But that said, what is it? What's the distinction? So F
I'm not gonna say it.
is
It's like
your-
who's
is-
carnal,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
does he love, and who does he hate?
Explain. So the deeper
Were you ever a
implications of
kid?
so look so
Oh, God. This is, just by the way, this is supposed to be rapid fire.
yeah, come into the fire with me. See what's rapid about it is how your skin sizzles and you
Should we
lose
move
all
on?
sensation in your limbs. Becca's Mary. Because he's crazy and that's what he thinks. Love is kill. Oh no, but then
I think you're
Marianne
right.
truly loves. I think Marianne is was that the third person?
Mary.
Yeah.
Marianne was probably Mary. Beck. Fuh. and love is K.
Yeah.
Okay, this was an interesting question that we actually got from multiple fans. Should Joe end up in this situation, what would his last meal be?
What does this man eat?
Yeah,
There
actually.
was also a question like, is he
Has he-
vegan? Would he ever hurt
Is
an
he
animal?
vegan?
Yeah.
got a
You know, they
couple
tried to
questions
put some
like
vegan sausage in Joe's pants. Come on. Come on. It's too
that.
good.
Living up to the middle school aspect of the show.
What does this have to do with middle school?
I don't know. You can skip it if you
Yeah,
want.
no.
This is a totally
no, I
bonus
meant this
episode.
whole thing, the premise. They tried to put vegan sausage in Joe's freezer in London, and I was like, no, he's not vegan. He does give off weird vegan vibes, I guess, but no. Last meal would involve coffee of some kind and just feel like steak. I feel like just one plain steak in the middle of the plate.
Rare.
Because it's like symbolic. He wants his life to be like a novel written by yeah.
Okay, given Joe's dark heart, why do you think it's so important for him to have a virtuous woman?
So it's two parts. I mean, I think he's traumatized in his childhood. So the hardness of his heart is not feeling safe ultimately in the world, which then causes him to need to control and manipulate people, which ultimately ends in their death. If he goes that far, you know, and I think that checks out with the. I mean, it's a gross oversimplification, but I think that checks out with the behavior of people who are capable of this. And then in terms of like seeing in another woman needing that virtuosity, I think that's you know, that condition I just described magnified by, you know, all the sort of modern toxic conceptions of masculinity and femininity and purity and yeah, I mean, so it's an archetype and it's a fantasy that doesn't exist even if you theoretically get a virtuous person or something like that. So I actually think in that way it's pretty relatable and pretty universal, pretty relevant. You know, I think boys do grow up and girls. I mean, I think all people are growing up with that archetype of like a woman should represent like this level of purity and virtue that is impossible. You know, that fantasy was shattered was when he realized his mom, you know, couldn't be everything for him. And I think everybody has that experience at some point. At some point, your parents become human, and it's a matter of how you respond to that.
If you, Penn Badgley, could have a conversation IRL in real life
Earl,
with Joe Goldberg, what would you want to ask him?
if I am actually me, who I am, and I'm like, I've kind of been meditating on him. So let's say he was a person I was obsessed with, or I like had a, you know, and somehow I could meet him in a controlled circumstance, but like and he was interested in listening to me. And by the way, it would be in my tone. It would not be, the question is simple, but it would be in my tone. I really, at this point, and I think I've been clear about how much I detest all of his deeds. So in that context, I would actually try to love him, because the truth is he's never gotten that. So I would ask Joe, I just feel like I would look at him for a long time. And because of my relationship to him, I would try to love him. I'm not saying that he deserves
that's what you should do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he deserves that. I'm not saying that anybody else should do that. I'm saying I would try to love him. Kind of the same, we asked this question at the end of our show, what would you do for your 12-year-old self? It's the same. He's the same. He needs that. He needs love. It's like I would hug him. And I would just, I would hold him. I would hold him.
Yeah, I think that's a good distinction.
Yeah.
Because you are you are more safe than most people in that.
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, it's exactly that. It's exactly that. That I'm not. Yeah. Kind of hits.
Yeah. Wow.
Oof. Yeah. In that context, very sad.
There was a sub question to that, which
Okay.
was, what do you think Joe Goldberg would say to the real Penn Badgley if he had a chance?
Well, so it's like it's the conversation of that. So like, what would happen after that? And I'm imagining him saying like, I feel like this is some strange gestalt, like I'm in therapy right now with Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm completely creating this in my head, but I feel like let's go there.
Yeah.
I feel like he's weeping and he's saying, "I'm sorry." You know, keep in mind, like in this fantasy that is happening spontaneously right now on camera.
Surprisingly moving.
Yeah, it's because at the end of the day, he is a human being. Now, I'm not saying that means he's deserving of redemption. I'm not saying any of that, but he is a human being, and this is a fantasy because you cannot create a situation where this would necessarily happen between two people, right? So that's why this like doesn't happen. So I'm not saying that this could happen, should happen. Like, go try. But I think if I really loved him, at least for a moment, a wall would come down, and if that wall came down, he would feel what he's done. And he wouldn't just be remorseful. I mean, I do feel like it's just this profound sadness, and maybe for a moment he's seeing that. And so to me, it's not a conversation. It's really like it's an exchange of love that has to be possible between any two individuals. Maybe only in theory, but it's still like between two human beings, that connection. And you know, I'm not saying it would transform. I'm not saying it would like stay in your cell. I go home to my family, okay? You know? Joe, all right. Visiting hours are over.
Yeah.
But we had a moment.
This is kind of off topic, but I recently had an experience in therapy where my therapist had me act out a scenario where I had to imagine having a conversation with someone. And then the second time I did it, it was with my own 17-year-old self. And I went into it like, this is so ridiculous. It's not going to work. And then when I actually did it, it was incredibly moving. I feel like that thing you just did with Joe and Penn,
Yeah.
that exercise is really transformative.
I agree. I have done that before too, actually, like with my childhood self years ago. Probably need to do it again. But but yeah, this like I feel like I had to kind of stop it from going further because otherwise it'd be weirdly vulnerable. But yeah.
What's your hottest take on the characters / the show?
Am I not just full of hot takes?
yeah,
Have
I
I
feel
not?
like
I've been hot taking since
Someone wants to know
2017.
your hottest
My
take.
hottest take. I think my hottest take was going to therapy with Joe Goldberg and
Yeah, actually,
hugging
I think that
man.
was the hottest take
Yeah.
you've ever had. So a final question that we always ask our guests on Podcrushed is, if you could go back to your 12-year-old self, spend some time with him, what would you say? So we want to ask you, if Joe could go back to his 12-year-old self, what do you think he would say?
He would say some really dumb shit. He actually would, because if you think about who Joe is, he would be a bad mentor.
Yeah.
I actually think he would say kind of like what he said to Paco, which is actually really messed up. He said something like people need protecting or something. You know, technically Joe was grooming Paco to be like him. At the end,
Never
Paco
picked up on that.
At the Well, but I mean, think about it. Paco at the end, he closed the door on Beck and she died. right? Where's Paco?
Yeah.
Find Paco.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
they're not
because
harder-
it's
yeah,
because
they're
you
harder
were
to
his
call.
role model.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about
Yeah.
that.
Shows
Oh
the
my
importance of role
gosh.
models, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So actually, Joe, despite his best efforts, would probably say the worst thing. So it'd be like the opposite of something I would try to say. He probably would say like it would be about protecting yourself. It would be about being a victor over others. It would be about it would be like, all the things we call toxic masculinity, like basically speaking to young Joe and trying to indoctrinate him even sooner into that cult.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Penn, how do we
Thanks,
do?
guys.
You've done a lot of these kinds of panels.
No.
C minus?
Phenomenal job. I love the upholstery that you.
This is all us.
Yeah, we did this. We labored
Thank you,
for
Stitchers.
days.
Thank you for sitting through this. I know it's hard at times.
No, this has been nice. This has been nice because I mean, who knows who's interested in hearing some of these long, thought out questions and answers, but I got to even feel something new about Joe here, and that's interesting. That's cool.
Penn doesn't use a lot of superlatives, so nice from Penn is like aces.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Hyperbole is not my. I love saying
Exceptional for
hyperbole,
other
but I
people.
don't like using it.
Because a lot of people will be like, wow, he's really shading his co-host.
Yeah, no, that's
Nice.
true. This has been even in some ways therapeutic. You know how people come on our show? This show, Podcrushed, available on all platforms. You got Stitcher Premium. You listen to SiriusXM. It's just a few bucks a month, guys. You go. What's one more subscription?
Spotify, Apple.
You press a button, you forget about it every month. What was I saying? No. What a lot of guests say about our show is that they come on and they feel like, oh my, it's like something therapeutic about it, something very nice and warming. And I felt that way here. So before I thought it was just me, frankly, that gave them that.
Yeah.
And I was
You're like,
just,
wow, my co-host
Now
might
you
have
can
something
see
to
some
say.
value in us.
But
Maybe
now,
the
but now I
cast won't
see
change.
maybe it's you. Yeah.
Season 2.
Yeah. All right. So we'll keep you on. We keep you on.
Aw. Let's go.
It's
That's
just
a really
like
good idea.
I'm too
Too good, damn
too
it.
good at this. It's not right.
Brought all this fame upon myself. My talent, my impeccable timing, my chiseled jaw.
Is it?
This is all your fault.
This is all your fault.
Penn every morning in front of the mirror.